A warm welcome to everyone. I am Sasivijaya, working as an assistant professor in Marri Laxman Reddy Institute of Technology and Management. Today I will discuss you about Linux programming. And coming to the introduction of the Linux programming, Linux is composed of several components which work in the accordance to keep the system running. Linux is a free open source operating system that is based on Unix. It powers a wide range of devices from servers and desktops to embedded the systems. And it includes all the hardware components, kernel components and the shell. And hardware components includes RAM, HDD, these are the parts of the hardware layer. So they receive the function calls from the kernel to perform desired operations. And now coming to the kernel operations, now we have to discuss what is kernel. So kernel is a core part of OS. So these are the responsible for execution of controlling, allocating memory of process in a system. It directly interacts with machine hardware and hides the low level details during the execution of a programs. And coming to the shell, it is an interface between the user and the kernel which takes commands from the user and executes them according to the kernel functions. So this interface makes sure that the user gives the required commands only. And now coming to the operating system placement. Now the Unix acts as that means the operating system acts as an interface between the user and the hardware. So here is the Linux Torvalds, who is the developer of the Linux programming, and the Richard Stallman is the developer of the GNU utilities that can be used in the Linux programming itself. So it is developed in the year 1969 at AT&T Bell Laboratories by the group of team. So coming to the Linux features. So Linux is having different types of features like stability, security and flexibility. So stability, coming to the stability, it is having minimal crashes and it is suitable for all the servers. And coming to the security, it provides more security when comparing with the other operating systems. Like we need all the permissions to access the data, and we are having firewalls and limited user access to reduce the all vulnerabilities. And coming to the flexibility of the operating system, it can be customized for different purposes from small IoT devices to high performance servers. And coming to the Linux distributions, where the Linux is overviewed. Like from Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a user friendly and it is great for all the beginners. And coming to the Fedora, cutting edge technologies, CentOS, and it is stable for all the servers, and Debian. So it is the main foundation for all the distros. So distros is nothing but it can cater to different needs that is based on their packages and managers of the software. So this is what the Linux architecture is. So coming to the Linux architecture, system utilities and the application. First, coming to the hardware, we are having RAM, HDD, CPU. So these are all called as the hardware components. So these hardware components can send the instructions to the kernel. So here is the kernel operates all the resources that whatever we are asking the questions. So here the kernel is the heart of the Linux programming. So the kernel adjusts everything and then send to the shell. So it sends the commands from the system utilities applications to send to the cell. So here the cell commands instructions from the program to controls and allocates memory and send the instructions. So this is the kernel architecture. So coming to the kernel architecture, mainly the kernel was developed by Linux Torvalds in the year 1996, as we already said, and serves as the foundation for these operating systems as it controls the system resources and communicates directly with the hardware. The kernel is responsible for managing memory processing and system calls. system calls and device drivers. File management systems, like file management systems, process management systems, these are the different types of Unix utilities, Linux utilities. In the kernel architectures, we are having interfaces, which acts as an interface between the hardware and the user, and the threads and processes which the whole program can be subdivided, and preemption and the scheduling is nothing but which type of task can be done at what time. Next, the synchronization and the concurrency, and the interrupts management and the memory management, which shows whether where the memory is filled and where the memory is there. And supported architectures are nothing but what are the type of architectures that we are using so far, and supported devices are nothing but what are the types of devices that we are using so far in all the programming. And the security, coming to the security, when comparing with the remaining operating systems, a Linux operating system is having more secure. Next, live patching and live patching. So this is what the architecture of Linux kernel. So, and it is having features like multitasking, multi-user support, and a robust security level. So the Linux kernel forms the basics for a broad range of computing environment, from servers, desktops to embedded systems and the mobile devices. So this is what the Linux utilities. So these are called the file handling utilities, and security by permissions, and process utilities, text processing utilities, and the processing utilities. And these are the different types of utilities that we are used so far in the Linux. So coming to the file handling utilities. So file handling utilities are nothing but this is the root node, where we are having home, etc, opt, boot, bin, mnt, tmp. So tmp is used for temporary files, bin is nothing but the user data, home is nothing but all the directories, user is nothing but the user profile, library is nothing but the group of files, root is nothing but where the files are saved, local is nothing but the files of a user, and Unix. So this is what the file handling utilities. So commands. So what are the commands that we are using so far in file handling commands? First one, ls command, cp command, that is nothing but copy command. mv command is for moving a file. ls is for listing of different files that we stored. And rm is for removing the files, removing or deleting files. And then cat, more, less, head, tail. So these are the commands that we used so far in displaying the contents, file contents interactively. That cat is nothing but concatenating the files or concatenating the data, and more is nothing but the data that whatever we have to show, and less is nothing but the what type of data that we have to show. Head is nothing but the first part of the program, tail is nothing but the last part of the program. And find, locate, touch. So locate is nothing but locate, file, touch. These three commands are used to manage the files efficiently, like where the file is placed and how it is stored and everything. And coming to the security by file permission, this is the second Linux utility. So change mode. So this ch mode, it is used to change the file permissions like read, write and execute. And chown, chgrp. So these are used to modify the ownership and the group, like for example the user Mlritm. So we can change by using chown as a different name. And coming to the file permissions, here we are giving a read permission, a write permission. So here we are having different types of permissions, like maintaining data security, we need to give the permission and we need to give the access to the system, like data security and the access control. So R is nothing but the read permission, W is nothing but the write permission. So here it is the security by file permissions. So Unix follows a three-tied file protection, like this is owner's permission and this is others permission. So this is here we are having the access of read command and write command, and here we are having access for only the read only. So here we are having only the read permissions and we cannot modify, or we cannot add the data into it. So here we have write permission also, so that we can add the data and we can use the data. So each group represents a category. There are three categories, like owner category, group category and the others category. So owner permissions is nothing but those we are having the user like the authentication, the author have to give like read permission and the write permission, but the others permission, like user whoever using the data, those are having only the write permission, only the read permissions. Those users don't have any write permissions. Next, each category contains read, write and execute permissions. So here RWX is nothing but which we can give all the permissions, like here it is the owner permissions. So here the owner is having all the permissions, like read permission, write permission, modify and everything. And here R and X. So here only the read permission is given. This is nothing but the group permission or else the user permissions. So which is having only the read permission. We cannot modify or we cannot exchange the data from it. And here absence of write and execute permissions. We cannot write and we cannot execute. Like we cannot write and we cannot execute, in the sense here only the read permission is there, like that whatever we are having or else whatever we are searching in the Google itself, we are having only the read permission. So we don't have any write permission or else we don't have any modification permission. So this is nothing but the user, we can say it as Google user. Example. Next one, CH mode. So here we can change the file permission, like whoever wants to read, we can give permissions, like while we are sharing the data in a drive. So in that drive we are giving permissions to some of the members through giving access to some mails. So these are nothing but the giving file permissions. So here also we are having read permission, write permission and execute permission for all the three categories, like owner, group and the other users. And coming to the next one, process utilities. So in the process utilities we are having ps command, top command and kill command. So these are the three commands that can be used in monitor and to terminate the process, like how the process is going to be done and how the process is to be monitored and what the process has to be done in the next things. And the next one, BG and FG. So these two are used to manage the background and the foreground process, like firstly which process has to be done and lastly which process has to be done. And the next one, nice and renice. So these two can be adjust the process priorities to optimize the system performance. Next one, disk utilities. So disk utilities are nothing but these disk utilities are nothing but which is used to partition or which is used to store the data in a particular format. So here we are having different commands like df command and du command. So df command is used to displace the disk storage uses. For example, if you are having 2 GB of data, so in that what type of amount of data that we are used so far, like if you use 500 MB of data, so it is just shown that 500 MB of 2 GB. So df displays the disk uses of the disk uses of the properties. And the next one, du. So du shows the size of the directory. So that means what type of for example, if you are having a file, so this file size is of 2 MB. So it shows the size of a directory. Next one, fdisk, mkfs, mount, unmount. So these are used for the fdisk is used for the partition, mkfs is used for the format, and mount and unmount is nothing but the mounting and unmounting of the disks. So these are all the essential for managing storage resources. And the networking commands. So networking commands are nothing but which is used to communicate with one another. So here we are having different commands like ping command, which is used for the text connectivity, if configuration and IP configuration, these are used for the network interfaces, to configure the network interfaces. Netstat, curl and wget SCC. So these are all for the monitor and transfer the data across all the networks that we used it so far. So all the network commands are used for the communication from one another. Filters and text processing utilities. So filters and text processing utilities are nothing but which is used to manipulate the data and which is used to process the data. So in this we are having different commands like grep command, awk command and scd command. So grep command is used to search the data where we have stored, and awk scd commands are used to manipulate and process the text efficiently. And the next commands are wc, cut, sort and unique. So these are used for the word count, like the data that whatever we are placing, like a is equals to some value, b is equals to some value, like it shows the word count, like word count is equals to 1 2 3 4, like in the first line we are having 4, and like that we are it will shows. Cut is nothing but which is used to extract the data, and sort is nothing but which is used to analyze, like in the ascending order or else a descending order. And then unique is nothing but which is used to remove all the duplicate data that whatever we stored. So this is nothing but the filters and the text processing utilities. And then backup utilities are nothing but which is used to store the data that can be achieved or else synchronized. So here we are having different commands like tar data, which is used to achieve files, and resync data. So resync data which is used to synchronize all the files between the systems. So backup utilities ensures data safety and the recovery itself. Common utility commands. Here we are having different types of, here we have seen different types of utilities that we are learned so far. Now the first one is copying files. So here we are using cp command for copying. So to create an exact copy of file, you can use the cp command. So the format of this command is cp option source and destination. So example, here I have written that file 1 and file 2. So here the data whatever we are having in file 1, the same has to be copied to the file 2. For example, cp file 1 is having like abc, and file 1 is equals to abc, and file 2 is nothing is there. So if we want to transfer the data from file 1 to file 2, that means if we want to copy the data from file 1 to file 2, so here we are using file 1 cp file 1 file 2. So the data abc that whatever we are having in file 1, that can be copied to the file 2. So here file 1 and file 2 is having the same data like abc, and file 2 is also having abc. So cp command is used to copy the data from one file to another file. And the next one, moving command, moving or renaming the files. If you are having any different types of files, like for first file we have named as A, and the second file we have named as B, and the third file we have named as C, and the fourth file we have named as A. So in that case we are both are the same names. So here it is shows the same name is allocated. So we have to change the name of the file. So for that purpose we are using mv command. So from moving from one folder to another folder also we are using mv command. So this is the syntax, mv test sample. So here is the test is renamed as a sample. So test is the previous name, like A is the previous name, and finally this is the test, and it is renamed as sample. So here mv command is used for moving and renaming a file. Next one, rm command. Rm command is used to delete or removing the files or directories. So to delete or remove a file, we can use rm command. For example, here this is the syntax rm my.listing. So my.listing is the file name. Here we have to delete this file. So entire file or else entire directory can be deleted by using rm. So minus I we can use, and minus R we can use. So minus I is nothing but which is used, I is nothing but which is used to delete only file. R represents it can delete directory. And then RMDAR. RMDAR is the direct command for removing a directory. So here RMDAR book. So here it can delete the entire directory if it is empty. If it is not empty, it will shows like it is having files, whether you have whether you are deleted whether you are able to delete or not. So that it can delete. So it removes the directory name book if it is empty. So if it is not empty, it will ask again. So these are the references I have collected so far. Thank you.